Hello everybody and welcome to Romanceville's Tarot. I'm about to begin here with a reading. Now this is a reading for the 27th of December 2020 and it is a general reading, so it might not resonate with everybody, so please do take whatever resonates with you and simply leave the rest of it aside. If ever you do have any questions, please don't hesitate. You may contact me. All of my information is right below into the YouTube description box. You should pretty much find anything that you're looking for. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do take a brief moment of your time to click the subscribe button to show your support to the channel and to myself, and it would be greatly appreciated, and I do thank you in advance. So with no further ado, let's begin this reading. This is a channeled reading with Spirit. Spirit wants to send you a warning. Why a warning? Because it's a blind spot. We all have them. So this is a dedicated reading for the sign of Aries. We're going to go and discover a little bit about your blind spots, and we're going to conclude with an oracle card from a guide, a message from one of your guides. So let's begin. We're just going to turn these over and we're going to discover what your blind spot is. And this is going to be your guide card. So your blind spot is about fear. This is about, there are many different types of fears. This is about your fear in particular. So when we're talking about the fears, when you receive this type of sigil, the thing that is preventing you from clearly seeing the reality of the situation at hand is truly your own fear. Now, by its very nature, to fear is really to push something or maybe even push someone away from you. And this is why fear is truly the number one most isolating experience on the planet. The more fearful we are, the more alone that we are. And it's important that we come to recognize what all of our fears are about in order to both understand our reaction and choose how to respond to our fear. Now, fear can be defined as a response to a perceived threat that happens. And when we perceive something to be a danger to us, meaning that we perceive the possibility of some type of suffering or harm or injury on a physical, a mental, or an emotional level, then of course we naturally just want to get away from it, right? So usually we want either to push it away, which would really be, fighting it, or we want to run away from it. Now, even if we grow up in loving environments, we inherit fear. We inherit it, and the belief that we are not able to deal with certain things. We adopt feelings of powerlessness and inadequacy also. Without really questioning them, we kind of adopt an inevitable fear that comes as a result of it. Now, unfortunately, the primary ways that we can cover up our fears are truly through avoidance and control. So, what do we do with it? Interestingly enough, it doesn't matter whether the threat that we are perceiving is real or if the threat is to us or it is not to us. What matters here is if we perceive it to be a threat. Now, unless we feel safe in a given situation or with a given person, we will naturally push that situation or that person simply away from us. People who spend their lives avoiding the feeling of fear, they never really live. They wander through life in a routine, in a familiar way to arrive at a certain point, which is death, but to arrive at it safely. People who live their life in spite of fear, they don't listen to the important messages that are encoded in their fear. They ignore limits. They ignore warning signs, and they just do not look after themselves. This is ultimately going to lead to suffering. It's ultimately going to lead to suffering and a certain collapse. Our life, it depends on our capacity to lovingly take that responsibility for our fear. Now, trying to conquer fear or to get rid of fear is nothing more than trying to separate yourself from separation itself, if that makes any sense. Remember, the opposite of fear is love. Any love that you can have towards anything is simply and beautifully going to diminish your fear. But the ultimate answer to fear is to love. Love the self within you. That self that is afraid. And love the self within you that you are the most afraid of. It's by embracing fear itself that we dissolve that fear. So, when you receive this sigil, the acknowledged threat is not something that you don't see about the situation itself or someone involved in it. It is your own tendency to sabotage a good thing because of your own fear. Right now, you are using the tool of worry and expecting the worst to prevent yourself from being blindsided. It is a way to try to control the situation, which is, in a way, kind of avoiding your own fear. So instead of avoiding your fear, what you need to do is you need to face your fear. And otherwise, your fear is going to continue. And it's going to obscure your capacity to see the truth of this situation, which isn't a bad truth. So your blind spot is truly all about fear. Now we're going to move on over to your guide card and go and discover what your guides have as a message for you. This is about learning from your mistakes. And now your guides want you to know that Earth is often considered as a schoolroom. This is where we learn. So your higher self has chosen to enroll in this dimension to learn lessons that the spirit world does not teach very quickly. You need to congratulate yourself for the bravery that it takes to leave the comfort of feeling at one with everything and choosing to experience the sensation of separateness while you go about your tasks. Now, you're expected to make mistakes. You are. Having said that, it is the wise soul who always learns from them. So, life on Earth, it continually presents you with all different kind of challenges. And the quick learners, they find that they are presented with fewer struggles. And if this message appears in your spread for you, your guides are reminding you that the more you use the knowledge of past experiences when you're confronted with a life lesson, well, you know what? The less often these lessons are going to be presented to you. So take responsibility for the mistake and do not look to blame another, for the consequences, they're not good. So instead of blame, move into a state of understanding, a state of acceptance of the lessons, and in doing so, you will not need to repeat this behavior in future interactions. In life, there are no failures. There's just possibilities of doing something differently than you are used to by using your knowledge of your past experience. And this, my dear friend Aries, does conclude your blind spot and your message coming from your guides. I do hope that you enjoyed. I do hope that you're going to try to apply it. If you do have any questions, you would like a reading, my information is right below into the YouTube description box. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Have yourself a beautiful day. Thank you for being there, and I will see you tomorrow with a new message.